My name is Deacon Rice and I'm a Methodist minister working in the city centre. I'm part of a religious order, the Methodist Diaconal Order, as well as an order of ministry in the Methodist Church. So we have presbyters and we have deacons, and deacons are called to work on the edge of the church. So Derby Circuit have been really creative in this appointment, an appointment of a minister without a church building. So my remit is to be the Methodist presence in the city centre. With a brief to have a little focus in the night shelter. That's the winter night shelter for Derby, where the churches and Christians are working together to provide the winter provision, so we don't have people asleep on the streets and out in the cold. That's been a tremendous piece of work, ecumenical work, that was developed from 2013 and continues. Following on from the winter night shelter, which finished in March, I then became involved in the support projects, which mainly operate from Aussie Road Baptist Church. It seemed sensible, if I was called to work with people in the night shelter, that there was a possible connection to be made with other agencies such as housing and probation. And once I'd made a connection with somebody who was passionate for community chaplaincy, I then visited the probation service and was invited to partake in some training to be a mentor. I now have experience of visiting in the local prisons, and I'm particularly connected and particularly have a heart for the women who find themselves on the streets or in difficult circumstances and then end up in prison. And something that is a possible contribution, not necessarily just Methodist, but maybe in the beginning of this work I concentrate a focus of connecting with Methodist congregations where women who have been in prison, served a prison sentence and want to be connected with a worshipping community can be nurtured and supported in the way that helps them to find a different path. My first year has been networking with the other agencies as well as those in Christian work, but also in other faith contexts. So for instance, I met with the mayor and he called a meeting of the faith leaders, so I was able to pose the question, what can we do more together? Part of my remit is to connect with the 22 churches in Derby Methodist Circuit, and that I do on a regular basis, helping them to connect with the ministry that's ongoing and to help them to understand that it is a listening process, listening to God, because there's many aspects of good work that can be done, but where actually does God want us to be? History has it that the Methodist Church was in the London Road, so the Castleward area and that new development features well in my mind and continues to do so, and it happens to be at that end that those people who gravitate more to the streets occupy that area, as well as the spot where we are now, to be with people who might give them food or who might offer them money. And incidentally, I don't offer money on the streets, but gradually in my relationships with these people, we have an understanding about no exchange of money, but we certainly have exchange of conversation. I enjoyed working with cathedral staff and Canon Missioner Elizabeth and others in the ashing on the streets for the first time this year. Having come from London, Derby is like a breath of fresh air, and to wander the streets of this city, chatting to people, and to have the conversations that include faith and faith perspective and our understanding of being in the world is a great privilege. And from the oldest to the youngest, people are very friendly and willing and often initiate conversation. So it's a good place to be, especially on the edge of the Derbyshire countryside.